everybody, this is Terry, mom of the J Crew Squad. Hope everybody's doing well. I want to do this video today to talk about adoption. A lot of people have asked for this video and I've put it off and put it off and put it off, but we're finally going to do it today. So our family was made, as you may know, by adoption. We adopted 3 children, 2 biological siblings from foster care, and then our baby girl was a private adoption from a different family. So our journey started back in 2017. So we got married in 2012. I was 32 when I got married. I grew up not necessarily wanting kids. I did the play with baby dolls and all of that thing. I wasn't like ever like against that. But I just didn't think I wanted children. I was really career focused and driven. I really didn't think I was even going to be married. To tell you the truth, it was just not something that, you know, I really prioritized a lot, right? But God had different plans, and I ended up getting married in 2012. And then about 2016 or so, we started talking about possibly adopting. And what made me interested in adopting was that I knew that there were so many children out there who did not have homes. So to me, it just made sense. I'm kind of a logical brain person. And to me, it just made sense to try to provide a home for children who didn't have a home, as opposed to creating more children on the earth. I guess it's just kind of as simple as that. I always like kids. I have 4 godchildren. Shout out to them. And I have 2 nieces and a nephew as well. So with those children around, I mean, that's 7 kids right there, right? And so I was always the auntie that I was really big on education. So I would always do like back to school bags. I used to make Easter baskets and drive them to Ohio. From Indiana, I would do all like sorts of things. I used to give really over the top Christmas presents. I would shop all year long so that they could have, whoa, we'll keep that in. So that they could have all types of great gifts from me for Christmas. And I always used to joke that I wanted kids for Easter and Halloween and Christmas, right? But it doesn't work that way. So I really liked kids. I liked being around kids. And I was in higher education, so I was kind of with the big kids. So when I looked at adoption, I was really thinking of, you know what? That must be a sign that I should put this back here. And there it will stay. We'll keep that in too. I really wanted to adopt a kid that was maybe a little bit older, and not older like a teen, but ready to go to school. So 5, 6, something like that. So we went and got certified to be foster parents. It's a pretty long process. We ended up getting a pre-adoptive placement of some kids, and that did not work out. Really didn't love our experience with DCS, and so therefore we decided to go ahead and look the private adoption route. While we were doing that, and we signed up with an organization out of the Indianapolis area to do our private adoption, at the same time we were asked to foster a sibling set, which was Jay and Jess. And we did that, and when we got them, they were not supposed to be adopted. They were still up for reunification, and things just didn't work out with that. So they asked us if we wanted to adopt them, and we said yes. So that kind of went simultaneously with us working with the private adoption agency. We had already signed up. The money was already paid and all of that. So long story short, we ended up finalizing adoptions in January of 2020, like 2 days apart. So Justin Jay was, I think that was Tuesday, and then Jordan was Thursday. And so really exciting. And that's how we became a family. So that's all they've ever known. We brought Jordan home from the hospital when she was 2 days old. So she's only ever known us. Justin and Jalen really don't have a memory of their biological family. They have some memory of foster care. And their adoption is not open, not because we didn't want it to be open, but because it just didn't work out with DCS through that way. So that's kind of how we got to be where we are. Why we chose adoption is kind of like what I said before. But the other reason is once I started going through the process and started reading profiles about children, it just kind of reminded me how much the need was out there. So you know about those things and you hear that kids need families, but when you read those profiles and some of the things that these poor babies have gone through, it's just, I just couldn't see it any other way. Honestly, I really just couldn't. And it's not for everybody. And I think that any way you choose to expand your family is totally up to you. But it was definitely for us. It was definitely a tough road. A lot of bumps and ups and downs. But as they said when we were going through the process, you know, God knows who you're supposed to be the parent to. And so I firmly believe that everything worked out the way it was supposed to work out. So we have the J. Crew squad. Justin and Jalen, we decided to, when we were naming Jordan, we decided to give her a name that started with a J as well, so that could be kind of a tie that binds them together. So we went with Jordan because she's the greatest baby of all time, right? So that's where that came from. And then her middle name was named after a good friend and mentee of mine who was there with us throughout the process. And the other two kids, their middle names are based upon other people who were important in our lives at that time. Jordan has two middle names, and the second one was given to her by her biological mother. So I think that that's something that we really wanted to honor, and we are very, very thankful to her for trusting us with baby J. We'll always have a special place in our heart for her. So that is where her second middle name came from. As they get older, you know, and understand more and more about kind of their roots and where they came from, you know, I want them to be allowed to share their own story. So I wouldn't go too deep into their, you know, background and their stories, what they can remember of it, right? So Justin and Jalen were 3 and 4 when they came to us, and 4 and 5 when they were adopted. So like I said, they don't have a whole lot of memory before then. Now, adoption itself is a very interesting, especially coming from the aspect of diversity. A lot of people, when they think about diversity, they think race and sexual orientation and gender and things like that. But I try to educate people on the fact that foster kids and kids who come from adopted families, that is diversity as well. And there's a lot of things that we have to watch out for, right? So when you go to, I don't sit around and think my kids are adopted, my kids are adopted, my kids are adopted all day long, right? I don't think most people do that, but it's a part of everyday life, right? So when you go to a new medical provider and you're filling out background family history information, there's not but so much that I have, right? So things like that. When they have school assignments and it may include something about like a family tree or family history, or like bringing a baby picture or something like that, that's not something we really have for the older kids. So it's just things like that when it comes to adoption that come up a lot of times that a lot of people don't really think about. So I think it's important for people to think about that and keep that in mind as far as educators go, as far as medical providers and all of that goes as well. The book series, of course. Now we'll get these books that kept falling over, right? Danda the Panda. This is the first book, Welcome to My World, and this is an introduction to the character. And these books are available on Amazon.com. Please go ahead and pick one up. They make great gifts, great teacher gifts, great kid gifts, great adoption gifts. Holidays are coming up. Check it out. But the inspiration for this book series was my kids, right? So in 2020, when the pandemic came and everybody was stuck at home, I had always wanted to write a children's book, so that's when I did it. And my dedication in this first book, it says, for my children, Jalen, Justin, and Jordan, remember that love makes a family. So that's something that I always want them to remember. A lot of times people get caught up on the biology of things, and yes, biology is important. However, your chosen family, I think, is really, really special and really unique, you know. I had a 16 plus year career in higher education, and the amount of students who would come to college and then break off all communications with their family was astounding, right? And those are their biological families, but because they didn't have a good home life, they weren't cared for, they weren't nurtured, they weren't loved in the way that they needed to be loved or understood, they came to college, found a chosen family, and that's what they stuck with. I had kids who never went home on breaks, always stayed in break housing. I worked at 5 different colleges and universities across the country, and that's just what they did because that bond wasn't there. So now, as I work in K-12 education, you know, I like to tell people family is very important, but how you treat family is even more important, right? So just because someone is your mom or your dad, your brother, sister, cousin, aunt, uncle, whatever it may be, biologically, that does not mean that they will be there forever. And that does not mean that you can just treat them any old kind of way just because they're family, right? So I think that that's something important to remember. So that is how we came together as a family. So our adoptions were finalized in 2020. So coming up on 5 years. It is amazing. It's really hard to even think about life before them. It wasn't that long ago, right? 5 years is not that long ago, but it feels like forever, and I wouldn't have it any other way. So we want to have conversations about adoption. We're going to start doing some lives. I want you all to come in, list some questions, say what you have about adoption that you want to know. Every state is different, right? And every DCS is different. It's called different things. They operate in different ways. Every private agency is different. Now, each state has laws that govern how adoption works in each state, and some are similar. And once you get an attorney, they will kind of help work that through with you so that you know you don't have to worry about those types of things. But yet it is a complex process that I don't really know a lot about. We might bring on an adoption attorney to kind of talk through some things, you know. But the other thing that I want to do is just have general conversations about parenting, right? So also remember, check out our books on Amazon.com. That was Welcome to My World. We also have Love Makes a Family. This is our second book that came out in 2021. We are working on the third book right now that is due out in 2025, so we're really excited about that. It's working on illustrations right now, so really excited about that. Really want to get our momentum up. We just joined Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it, so check us out over there. Danda the Panda is the handle. We're on Instagram, Love Makes a Family Stories, plural, so Love Makes a Family Stories over there. And then we're on Facebook, facebook.com/Danda the Panda. So really easy to find us. If you are local to the Indianapolis area, we do free read alouds. We can do virtual, we can do in person. It's just a way to help us get, as an independent author, help us get our work out there. So we come, read books, pass out free bookmarks, just a way to interact with people, meet new people, and promote our books. And sometimes Danda is there. So we do author fairs, usually in the spring and then in the fall. We do craft fairs where local people are selling things for holidays, where they're promoting our book and selling our book. So we have about 3 combination of author fairs and craft holiday fairs coming up. So we do that as well. So if you're local to the Indianapolis area, we'll be there as well. If you want to have a birthday party, if you want to have a read aloud around Christmas, we can come. Danda can put on a holiday hat and we can come to you. So the possibilities are endless. So just consider us for all your kind of needs with children's literacy, and hope to see you soon. Thanks for stopping by. Please, please, please share this video, like and subscribe. Really trying to get a following on YouTube. Really trying to get our followers up on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. Thanks.